pleasure of hearing David Harris davening for us. We're going to have the pleasure of having a Devar Torah from Leigh Lewis. So over to Leigh. Thank you.
I noticed that nobody's been muted, if that's necessary.
We can mute everybody. I shall mute everyone. Don't forget to unmute yourself.
All right, good Neely Shabbos, everybody. Sorry. This week's Sedra of Shalach Lecha, back in 2018, was the first talk I gave at Kenton at the Shabbos Kodesh program. So it's a special anniversary. It's 4 years of me giving talks and you putting up with me with giving talks. I was going to in my talk refer to post-COVID, but as I've just been diagnosed, as I've just tested positive, I can't talk about post-COVID. But anyway, Sedra of Shalach Lecha. It's a really interesting Sedra. Despite the fact that the very end of it has got the third paragraph of the Shema and all its fringe benefits. It really is the story of the spies, which captures the imagination. We all know what happened. The spies attempt to bring back a bad report and all the rest of it, and all the things that happened after that. But the question is, was it their fault that they brought back a bad report? Or was it their backgrounds that sort of made them look at things a bit different? If we were to bring this into the modern day, like today, and you had 12 people walking around northwest London, what would they see? They would all see the same number of kosher restaurants, and they'd all see the same number of kosher shops. They'd see that there are Eruvim in certain places. They'd see lots of Jewish schools, and they'd see lots of synagogues. They would think the Jewish community is thriving. Well, some of them would, because they'd take what they saw on face value and would say everything must be right. Look at all these Yidden. Everything's going fine. It's wonderful. But there would be some people who would look a bit deeper, and they would say, "Go into the shul. All the shuls are empty or nearly empty after we've come back after COVID. It's not what it used to be. Shuls are not like they were. The attendances are way down. The 3 times a year people aren't coming anymore. The restaurants are empty. The shops are, well, the only way the shops can carry on is they've put up the prices. And so everything isn't as it seems. But the shuls are the ones that are suffering the most, not just because the attendances are down, but because shul bills have gone up. It's not necessarily a fault of the shul, it's the United Synagogue head office problem. And they seem to be thinking everything is hunky-dory by keeping the centre going at all costs and totally ignoring the needs and the requirements of the membership. People who can't afford to pay their shul bills with rising prices and everything else. It's been a disaster. And various friends of mine, not from Kensington, in other communities, have written to the US saying they can't afford to pay their shul bill. And the US has basically threatened them and said, well, if you don't, we won't bury you when you die. And they're saying, you can't blackmail me that way. That's not the way to do things. And some of my friends have said, doesn't matter anyway, I won't know about it, I'll be dead. But the point about it is that there are 2 different opinions. Depending on what your background is, depending what your agenda is. Some people say everything is hunky-dory with the Jewish community. And there are those that say it's not. And if we all take a close look, we can see that everything isn't okay with the Jewish community. Kenton has been magnificent over the last 2 years specifically, with all the stuff that it has done, with all the efforts, with services, with food for the needy, the talks, the Zoom thing. They've been fantastic. But we need to do a bit more because people could still get the wrong impression. If we have services, please come to them. Please come, not just on a Shabbos, but on the Sunday, the Monday, the Thursday, when there's minyan. Because a building without a minyan is not a shul, it's just a building. We need people to come to minyan. Even if you only come once a month but make that effort, whether it's in the morning or it's in the evening, but come along. The snack talks and all the other things that are going on, please support them. Make it visible that our community, no matter what your backdrop is, no matter what your agenda is, but our community can be seen to be doing all the right things the right way to 110% of its potential, which is putting other schools to shame. So when you go back to the spies, they didn't think enough about it. They took the easy route out. Let's not take that easy route. Let's go the extra mile to keep putting Kenton in the forefront, doing what we do so well. Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shikoya.
Yeah. Shakaya, Leigh, thank you so much for your Devar Torah, and we greatly appreciate what you've had to say this evening. Thank you so much. And now it's a great pleasure to invite David to daven for us.
Thank you, Rochelle, and evening all.
Yes.
Just to pick up where Leigh has left off, we have a really interesting snack talk on Sunday. The Wiener Library in Bloomsbury is a World Centre for Holocaust Research, and we've got a guy called Aaron Brohy coming to talk about the work of the library. So on Sunday night, and I really hope you make the efforts to come. That should be something worth doing. It's a very significant organisation. I suppose, you know, kind of in global terms, it's on our doorstep. Anyway, that's that from me. Now we'll proceed with the proceedings. The rabbi isn't here, so you either have a siddur or you don't. But there won't be anybody showing anything, my guess, which is probably just as well.
That's right, Dave.
So you won't be able to follow any mistakes that I've made. Okay, so we'll begin in the traditional fashion with Yedid Nefesh, and after on the count of three. 1, 2, 1, 2. Yedid Nefesh. Avarachaman, Meshach Avdecha, El Ratzonecha, Yarutz Avdecha, Kamo Ayal, Yishtachavel Mulchatarecha, Yeravlo, Yedidatecha, Mino Fetzuv, V'chol Tam, Adonai, Ziv Olam, Nafshi Cholat, Avatecha, Ana Elena, Rafana La, Barod La, Noam Zivacha, Astid Chazek, V'titrafek, V'hayetala, Simchat Olam, V'tikyemna, Rachamecha, V'chusana, Albeinahu V'cha, Kizakama, Nichsafti, Le'rob Tiferet Uzacha, Eila Chamda Libi, V'chusana, V'altitalam, Igalena, Ufros Chavivi Alai, Et Sukat Shalomecha, Ta'ir Eretz Michvodecha, Nagila V'nismacha Bach, Ma'ereov Kiva Moed, L'chanenu Kimayolah. 999. nine, 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 in the nine, 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 in the nine, 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 in the nine, 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 in the nine, 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 in the nine, 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 nine. In the nine 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 nine, yum bum bum bye. In the nine 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 nine, in the nine 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 nine, in the nine 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 nine, in the nine nine nine. Nine nine nine, in the nine 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 nine, in the nine nine, in the nine nine, in the nine nine nine, in the nine nine, in the nine nine nine. In the nine 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 nine, in the nine 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 nine, in the nine 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 nine, in the nine nine nine, yum bum bum bye. In the nine 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 nine, in the nine 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 nine, in the nine 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 nine, in the nine nine nine. And then we'll proceed with the Chunur and some communities have the minhag to say this in alternate verses. We don't, but maybe for this afternoon we'll just adopt that minhag. So if feel free to join in so long as you're all muted. That's your bit. Is mirod narialo my bit. Kiel gadolado. Melech gadol alkom. Elohim asher b'yado mecharei haaretz. V'toafot harim lo. Asher lo hayam vehu asai. Yaveshet yadav yatzaru bo nishtachave v'nichra livracha lifnei Adonai Oseinu ki hu Eloheinu v'anachnu amarito b'tzon yado hayom im b'kol oti yishma'u al takshu levavechem ki imriva ki yom masa b'miba Asher nisuni avoteichem v'chanuni gamra ufali arba'im shana akub b'dor v'ama'am toei leivavim v'im lo yatu diracha asher nishbati b'api im yivon amnuchati shrad masher chadash shrad my kol haaretz. Azranu Kalasaya, if Adonai Kiva, Kiva Lishpot Aretz, Yishapot Tevel B'Tzedek, V'yamim V'yamunatot, Namalachta Gel Haaretz, Yismirim Rabim, Anan Varafel Sviva Seret Mishpat Mechans. Aviad Mesinura, Shomina Shel Chasidah, Miyad Rishayim Yatzileim, Orzar Latzadik Urishrei V'Simcha, Simchut Tzadikim Badunai, Vehodu Lezeiche Kodsho, Mizmor Shirat Mashir Chadad. Pitzchuran is amazing. Yachad, Harim Yeranein, if Neadunai Givalish Bataretz, Yishpat Tevel B'Tzedek, Yamim B'Meisharim, Adonai Marach Yirgzu Amim Yoshe Krim Tagot Haaretz, Adonai B'Sion Gadol Ramhu Al Kol Amim. Amudanan Yedaber Aleihem Shamru Edotav V'chot Natan Lamo Adonai Eloheinu Ata Nihitam El Naseitam Lahem V'no Kemal Alilotam Ramamu Adonai Eloheinu V'ishtachavu Lehar Kodsho Ki Kadosh Adonai Eloheinu. Mizmor LeDavid, Avu Ladonai b'nei Elim, Avu Ladonai kavod va'os, Avu Ladonai kavod shemo, Ishtakavu Ladonai behadrat kodesh, Kol Adonai al hamayim el hakavod, Irim Adonai al ma'im Rabim, Kol Adonai ba'koach, Kol Adonai be'hada, Kol Adonai shover arazim, Vaishaber Adonai et arzei ha'levanon, Var yarkidem kamo egel levanon, V'sirion kamo ben re'emim, Kol Adonai chosef lahavot ish, Kol Adonai yachil midbar, Yachil Adonai midbar kadesh, Kol Adonai yecholei layalot, Vayechesof Yearod Uveichalo Kulo Omer Kavod Kulo Omer Kavod, Adonai Lamabul Yashav Vayeshev Adonai Melech Leolam, Adonai Oz Le'amo Yitain, Adonai Yevarech et Amo V'Shalom. We come to Lecha Dodi. Shabbat is personified as the bride who comes in, as I'm sure everybody knows. And for Lecha Dodi, let's begin with the well-known, perhaps not so well-known, but anyway, the fairly famous Shlomo Carlebach tune. Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, Panei Shabbat Nekabla, Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, Panei Shabbat Nekabla, Yanai Shamar V'Zachor B'Dibur Echad, Ishmiyanu El HaMeyuchad Adonai Echad U'Shmo Echad L'Shem U'Tiferet V'Letila Lecha Dodi, Lecha Dodi Obit Le'Bech Kala Likrat Kala Panei Shabbat Nekabla, Nai Likrat Shabbat L'Chuvenei Lecha Ki Makar Habaracha Merosh Mikadam Nasucha Sof Maaseh Machshava Techila Lecha Dodi, Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala Panei Shabbat Nekabla, Yanai Mikdash Melech Ir Melucha Kumitzai Mitoch Hafecha Rav Lakshe V'Byemek Habacha V'Hu Yachamo Allah Yichem Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala Panei Shabbat Nekabla, Yanai Nari Me'avarku Milivshi B'Tei Tivartecha Mi Al Yad Ben Yishai Beit Alach Mi Korva El Nafshi Geya Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala Panei Shabbat Nekabla, Yanai Arit Arari Kivao Rechumi Ari Uri Uri Shir Dabei Rikavod Adonai Allah Yichnit La Lechado Odi Lechado Di Likrat Kala Pene Shabbat Kabbalah. It has become traditional for some reason to change the tune at this point. I did once find a reason why this was the case, but like they said of the Eastern question, you know, everybody who ever knew what it was all about forgot. So I've forgotten why we do this. But anyway, we usually do. Rabbi Black isn't with us tonight. So just a reminder of Rabbi Black, let's use the Chabad tune. Lo tevo shiva lo tikol mi, ma tishachari umatami, ba yetsu ani yami, v'nivnata ir al tilam 999, l'chado di likrakala, v'nei shabbat nekabala, l'chado di likrakala, v'nei shabbat nekabala, v'hayu limshisa shosayich, v'rachaku kol mevalayich, yasis alayich, Elohayich, Kimsot Chatam Nahokala 999, Lechado di Likrakala, P'nei Shabbat Nekabala, Lechado di Likrakala, P'nei Shabbat Nekabala. Yeah. Yaminu small, Tifratzi, Vayet Adonai et Haritzi, Ay, 999, Yadish, Ben Parsi, V'nismacha V'nagila, L'chado di Likrakala, P'nei Shabbat Nekabala, L'chado di Likrakala, B'nei Shabbat Nekabala, B'wi v'shalom ateret ba'ala, Yam b'simcha u'v'tzahola, Tochem b'nei am segula, B'wi chala, B'wi chala, bam bam bam, L'chado di likrakala, B'nei Shabbat Nekabala, L'chado di likrakala, B'nei Shabbat Nekabala. And to finish, let's do, everybody turn, if you have a siddur, to a page, and we'll have a go at Yigdal to finish the proceedings. So, everybody is ready? Ready? And we'll count you in yet again. A 1, a 2, a 1, 2, 3, 4. Yigdal Elohim chai v'yishtabach, nimtza v'yeinei dal metziuto, echad v'yen yachid k'yichudo, nelam v'gam ein sof li'achduto, ein lo demut haguf v'yein lo guf, lo na'roch elav kedushato, kamon l'chol davar Hashem yivra, Rishon v'yen Reshit l'Reshito, Hino Adon Olam l'chol notzar, Yoreh gdulato u'malechuto, Shefa nevuato netano, El anshei skulato v'tiffarto, Lo kom Yisrael k'Moshe od, Navi u'ma'abit et emunato, Torah emet natan mi'amoel, Al yad nevi'o neman beito, Lo yachal Yifrael. Excuse me, V'lo yamidato, Le'olamim lezulato, Sofer v'yodea, Setarenu mabit, Sof davar b'katmato, Gomel yish chesed k'mifalo, Notein rosh hara k'rishato, Tishlach lekech yamim Meshichenu, Lifto mechakekech Yeshuato, Meidim Yirayel, Baruch Hasdo, Baruch Adei Shem Tehilato, Meidim Yirayel, Baruch Hasdo, Baruch Adei Shem Tehilato.
Good.
Oh, thank you.
Everyone.
Cole
Bye.
Cabral, David, thank you so much.
Thank
We
you,
like
everyone.
your Carly and Kabuds and Nusrat.
You're very kind. And,